man. We got a lot to talk about, AJ. A lot to talk about. And the first thing we're going to talk about, you over there in Minnesota, you in the Midwest, you know what's going on. You feel the temperature. And 2-game losing streak. I don't know if people know this. In the regular season, the Vikings, they got their first loss against the Rams. Against the Lions. And then in the following week, they lost to the Rams. Once again, they lost to the Lions. And then the following week, they lose to the Rams. They get eliminated by the Rams. And it's a lot of decision making now going on, AJ. Should the Vikings keep Sam Darnold and sign him because he's a free agent, or should they just roll with their rookie, JJ McCarthy?
You know, Joe, I think today we're going to have some very interesting conversations. Because there's the number side of it, right? I mean, he had his best statistical season. He threw for, 4,319 yards, 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, had a 102.5 quarterback rating on the season. And then when it mattered most, we found out he got no it factor whatsoever. So it just depends on what we want nowadays. There's a crowd of people who just love them some numbers. They love the numbers. Numbers this, numbers that, numbers. Look at the yards, look at the touchdowns, look at it. But no it factor. There is no it factor there. They just put up great numbers. But when you need the most, they are nowhere to be found. And then there are some quarterbacks who don't give you the wow, eye-popping numbers. But when you need them, they give you them big-time moments and come through for you and get dubs. Then there's those quarterbacks that do it all. They got the it factor and they give you the numbers. You got the Patrick Mahomes. You got the Lamar Jacksons. Like, you got guys that just give you everything you're looking for, right? But those are very few and far between. Sam Darnold is one of those guys that now we see clear as day what he is. He's going to have some really good games, especially with this team. Don't tell me he ain't got weapons to throw the football to, from Justin Jefferson to Addison to TJ Hockenson. He's in a solid running game with a very good offensive coach, one of the best offensive coaches in football right now, right? He's got weapons, so he's going to have great games. He's going to have great moments. But when you need him to deliver back-to-back weeks, the Lions game, as you know, Joe, I kind of gave him a pass. It's Detroit. They are 15-2. They have looked like the best team in the NFC for a vast majority of the season. Of course, I'll argue Philly, but just to not talk about them right now, Detroit has been that team. They are the number one seed. So, okay, Sam, we're going to give you this pass. But the Rams is not a team you should be struggling like this against. The Rams defense isn't amazing. They got a really good defensive front, don't get me wrong, but their secondary is not amazing. Their offense is not the greatest either. You just can't go out there and screw this game up. And he went out there and played. Sam Darnold had one of the eye test wise. The numbers aren't terrible. Eye test wise, Sam Darnold had one of the worst playoff performances I have ever seen. Just not getting rid of the ball, bro. Just taking sack after sack. Just sitting back there in the pocket. I don't know what he's looking at. I don't know what he's looking at, bro. One thing that made me laugh, I can't help but bring this up. You know, I'm out here and I hear the Minnesota announcers, the radio guys talk through the game. And the guy is on the microphone like, you know, Sam Darnold, he drops back. He's in the pocket. He steps up, throw it away. Just throw the ball. Oh, he takes another sack, like losing his mind. And that's not something you normally hear, but it's like everybody in the world was thinking the same thing. Yo, what is going, even KOC, what is this guy doing out there? I really feel like he single-handedly sold that game. So to answer the question directly, it depends on, and this is oddly enough, I'm going to answer a few questions today. Depends on what you're looking for. If you want numbers, go with Sam Darnold. He showed you what he is. He's not a guy who's going to win you a Super Bowl. He's probably not a guy who's going to take you on a playoff run, no matter the talent, because the Vikings have the talent right now to go on the run with the right quarterback. They just do. They won 14 games this year, right? Do you want the numbers or do you want the possibility? Because we don't know if JJ has it factor yet either. But do you want the possibility of it factor? Or hypothetically speaking, maybe he gives you both. Depends on what you want. If I'm the Vikings, I want it factor. So I'm letting Sam Darnold walk, and I'm giving JJ McCarthy an opportunity to ball out next season.
I agree. I think about 2 weeks ago in the Artois show, I said that even if Sam Darnold beat the Lions, even if Sam Darnold beat, not win the Super Bowl, but if he beat the Lions and get that number one seed, I'm going to still roll with JJ McCarthy because we've seen 2 seasons back to back that 2 quarterbacks had some of their best seasons. Well, Kirk Cousins is a season and a half. Had some of their best seasons with this coach, Kevin O'Connell. We all know that he's a quarterback encourager. He makes the quarterback feel important. He instills confidence into his quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins had a great year. They won what? 13 games, AJ, in the regular season? 13 games. But do Kirk Cousins, like you said, have the it factor? He don't. He just don't. Right? And then Sam Darnold, same situation. He comes in here being an outcast in the NFL. And then he has a career year. And everybody's like, whoa. I heard people comparing him to Kurt Warner. When Kurt Warner stepped in and won the Super Bowl, which is rightfully so, because he was playing very good. But in the bright lights, when it was time for him to rise above the play calling, rise above that and be an X factor, be the guy that's going to get them home, be that superstar, he wasn't there. The Lions game, it wasn't like opportunities were there, AJ. He was literally seeing ghosts. That's the running theme about him, right? He see ghosts. And his head is on a swivel. He panics. He's in panic mode. What I felt like he did against the Rams, I felt like it was a mixture of panic and a mixture of, I got to make a play. I got to redeem myself from that Detroit game, right? So that's why he took a lot of sacks, in my opinion, because he put his team in all bad positions where it was second and short, or not second and short, second and medium, and then he would take a sack, and then now it's third and long. Or it was third and medium, and then you take a sack, and it's fourth and long when you would have went for it if it was third and short, third and medium. So he kept taking these negative plays. And, like you say, you look at the numbers, you didn't watch the game, you would say, okay, Sam Darnold, he was pretty all right. You know what I mean? What? 245 yards, right? I mean, he wasn't pretty all right, but he had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But he wasn't good. So the Rams defense, they did a great job pressuring him. Gerard Kurtz, he did a great job that game. I'm moving with JJ McCarthy. I know it's a preseason. I even said this in the preseason when it happened. I'm like, yo, I'm not big on preseason numbers, but he did look pretty okay in the preseason. So did Bo Nix. Bo Nix looked pretty good in the preseason, and look how it turned out in the regular NFL season. So if I'm now, and JJ McCarthy, lastly, he actually won. He actually won in college. You know what I mean? He won an national championship. So I would go with JJ McCarthy because I trust the head coach. The reason why. So, and not pay Sam Darnold, what, $40 million a year, $30+ million a year? No, stick with the rookie and then build around the rookie.
I'm not going to lie. The only pushback I have for you, was your mic still on just now? I was hearing echo, my bad. The only pushback I have is if he went out there and beat Detroit for the number 1 seed and he got you to the NFC Championship game, and he's not the reason why you lose, I'm thinking about it at that point. I'm not going to lie. Because he did have a really good regular season. I think everybody, well, I'm not going to say everybody. I think me, myself, I was waiting on this type of moment from Sam Darnold. I was waiting on him to show me that he's not what he was. The regular season is cool. He's had great moments. He's delivered. He's played great. Don't get me wrong. He's come up clutch during the regular season at times. But there's nothing like, playoff games. Like you said last week, that Lions game, last game of the season, was pretty much a playoff game. And then we saw you in an actual playoff game. If he performed in those 2 games, and let's just say Justin Jefferson dropped a ball at the end in the NFC Championship game, then it's like, at that point, you're kind of taking a risk in a rookie who you don't know about just yet, opposed to Sam Darnold, who just showed you in this system with KOC, he can perform. But these 2 games showed you everything you need to know. It told you everything you need to know to say, nah, bruh. Like, if we want to win it, you can be competitive with Sam Darnold. You can be competitive, just like some other quarterbacks I'm not going to forget to mention today. You can be competitive with some guys, but if the goal is to win the Super Bowl, if the goal is to have that Lombardi, Sam can't be the guy. And we don't know if JJ can be the guy either. But it's a chance you got to at least take. You drafted him in the top 10? Yeah. It's a chance you got to take at this point. But the only reason why, like I said, only bit of pushback I have is because, as an Eagles fan, we was in a similar situation where Carson Wentz was, and granted, 2 quarterbacks that we got to see. We didn't really get to see JJ McCarthy, but Carson Wentz was balling for a period of time, right? Nick Foles comes in there and he wins big. And it's like, all right, do we let Nick Foles walk or do we, we roll with Carson, or we want to keep Nick Foles, and we decided to keep Carson, and Carson really wasn't himself no more, and Nick Foles came in there and almost wins you a few more playoff games. So it's like, if Sam shows you that, it's hard for me, to be like, move on from Sam. Because then what happens if you move on from Sam and JJ is a bust? Then you like, we should have kept Sam.
You're right. But the difference is they drafted JJ this year. They literally drafted him. And if they pay him, then that's less money you have to build around the team you already have. If you don't, when you keep JJ, you save a whole bunch of money and you can continue to build around JJ. That's why I say I want to stick with Sam Darnold. I don't think if Sam would have stayed, they were going to be better than what they were this year. I don't believe that. That's what I mean? So that's why I'm going with JJ. But I get your point, though. I get your point.
I ain't mad at it.